Welcome back to Online Darts, everyone. In the build-up to the World Matchplay final, we have got Chris Mason. Chris, before we dive into the final, we've witnessed something special this week, haven't we?
Yeah, we certainly have. We only thought it was a matter of time before sort of this record went, and certainly a tournament record. Played over a much shorter format, of course. The Europeans that Phil holds the record of just shy of 110. But yeah, he's been incredible. He's already played way more legs than Phil played in that entire tournament, and he's yet to play in the final. But yeah, we always talk about range, don't we? And his range is about a 2-point swing. If you base where his running tournament average is, and he peaked at 113 plus, and his lowest has just been shy of 110. It's remarkable consistency, but it's just mind-blowing darts. I have to keep checking my stats and make sure I'm right.
Are we on the verge of seeing something special? That we've seen Phil, we've seen Michael, and I know we tried not to go over the top because we're only 2.5 years into a career, but it's hard not to ignore this now, isn't it? That this is generational, maybe even defining for the rest of our lives in darts.
Yeah, well, we've not seen anything. Well, I always say he's not reinvented the wheel. We've seen performance levels like this, but not at the consistency. I mean, Phil was brutally consistent and then would have his peak numbers, of course, on inferior boards, has to be said, and there's more events now. But already, wherever you want to place Luke Littler, you're placing him amongst MVG and Phil Taylor. Whichever order you want to put them in, they're the three greatest we've ever seen. And I personally think are probably ever likely to see. But then I say that, and a certain Mitchell Laurie comes along, and I go, "Oh, here we go, another one." But great that it's another great Scotsman, you know, that's coming through, which is fabulous for Scottish darts. But yeah, it's generational greatness certainly, and he's putting out a marker, and he's starting to get that fear factor. You know, because he'd been run close before. Yes, he's been dominant in terms of winning titles. What's he won the last 9 majors? But amongst all of that, he's been run close a few times. But in this form, I mean, look what Aspinall threw against him. I mean, forget about Aspinall's average, because you have to remove that early session. And of course, within that early session, we didn't just see a 9-darter from Littler in the opening leg. We almost seen another in leg 4, and he ended up going out in 10. So you imagine that, stack those numbers up, and he's maintained that level of going out in 13, 14 and 15, and Aspinall did exactly the same, including that incredible 170. But he was examined, and I said then, he won't get an examination like that off anybody else in this tournament, because Humphries was already gone, MVG's gone. Where's the test going to come from? Well, Gerwyn Price, who has run him close in multiple tournaments, but again, it's hard to. I love Gezi Price, you know, I'm a huge fan. I think he's box office, but I just don't see where that number comes from, and to maintain it for over an hour.
When we talk about scar tissue, the fact that Luke's won 9 in a row against Gezi, and Gezi's, you can see he's fully aware of it. And like you say, when people used to play Taylor, used to play MVG, that scar tissue, you can't ignore it.
No, and he will have a bit of that, and he did say in his post-match he felt that players were sort of rolling over. It's not that you roll over, but pressure becomes magnified. So when you're having, and he should know better, because how many times is this tournament is he let people back in by not being able to close out a leg? And that's because of scar tissue, and it continues to happen. Where Luke doesn't have any luggage, there's no baggage in his brain that's got an ounce of negativity. He's all positive because his career has been all positive, and you know, it looks like it's going to continue for a long, long time. I always said I think he breaks average records and performance level records. I don't think he'll have the longevity to break tournament as in 16 because if he carries on like this, by the time he's 25, well, what's he going to have left to do? He'll want to do something else, and he'll have banked a couple of 100 million at least, and he'll sail off to the sunset and do something else. He has a massive interest in football, a massive interest in sort of media stuff, and I can see him going off and doing that. If he doesn't, bonus for all of us and all the dart fans.
For the rest of the year, how did the rest stop him? How do they find something to stop him?
Break his fingers, maybe. Get allowed to use another dart or two. I actually worked out the way I'm playing currently. I would need 6 darts to be competitive, and that's ridiculous, isn't it? You know,
that's mad.
Yeah, he's just so special, and he's a joy to watch. You know, you're already seeing these grumblings of, oh, is it getting boring? Watching sporting brilliance is never boring for me. I loved watching Federer. I loved watching Nadal in the French. You know, I loved Schumacher and Senna. You know, when you see Phil, including Phil, or in snooker when Hendry was doing it, and N. O'Sullivan. Brilliance is never boring for me, mate.
I'm guessing by this, you think he wins comfortably this evening?
Listen, I don't have an opinion. Unless he catastrophically comes off the top or has a really bad day, and Gezi has a really, really good day. Well, listen, we know Gezi has had the game in the past. Is he in that kind of form right now? Not for me. He's not in the form he was 12 months ago. It's a bit like... you know, and it was nothing personal against Van Veen. His numbers just don't stack up to be competitive. It'd be a bit like me averaging 90, saying, yeah, I fancy beating Taylor. You know, when I was averaging late 90s and the odd ton average, that's when I thought, well, maybe if he has an off day and I play out of my boots, I get a chance. But the void in their numbers and the lack of range in Luke's numbers, statistically, on paper, you know, make it look impossible. And so far, for everybody else, it has been impossible.
When he picks this up then, the clean sweep is on.
Yeah.
He's only got 4 Pro Tours to make 9.
All in Leicester, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, he's already said he's not going to the European ones. Does he make Minehead, and can he do the clean sweep?
What do we think he needs? A win and a runner-up?
No, I think he needs...
2 wins?
2 wins and some. The projected cut-off at the moment is about 32,500 from 4 events.
Wow.
Even for Luke's standard, that's pushing it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 15 for a win, isn't it?
So 2 wins,
and a quarter-final, semi-final. Yeah, that's tough. But if anybody, that's the thing, right? He might want to do it to prove a point, but to be honest, is he really that bothered about it?
I just think it's another record.
Does that event stack up in terms of the Grand? If it was a UK Open, I'd probably agree.
I don't think it's the event. I think it's the fact that he can hold everything in the calendar year. That's the carrot.
Well, he can go everything in the calendar year that he plays in.
Yeah.
No, I'm not so sure. I don't know. I think he might do it out of curiosity just to see if he can. I'm not sure. And again, that's where they're going to have to change something for next year, because you can't have the best player in the world not in the events because of your rules. You quite simply change the rules to suit. I've always thought it should be top 16 in the world anyway, because as this sport has moved on, Pro Tours have become less and less important for them, but more important for the lower ranked players to try and climb the rankings. Winning 15 grand for a lot of these guys in the top 8 are here and there. They're no rhyme or reason in terms of where it puts them. You know, if you start winning multiple ones like Vessel Nyman, then yeah, it makes a huge difference. But yeah, I think they're going to have to rethink it for next year. And, you know, the UK Open, of course, takes care of itself because it's automatically tour card holders. But the one event, you know, and you can't really say it about the Europeans because they should be playing in the Europeans. You know, it's a bit like the World Series finals. At some point, you know, we're already seeing players go, do you know what, I don't really fancy it. Well, here's a great chance then to put the players that were often overlooked, give them a go. You know, it's like so many events, and I think the game has grown so fast since the last time they reviewed all these events that it's time probably, and they're probably doing it behind the scenes. I know there was a couple of meetings this week. The PDC don't sit still. They don't sit on their hands and go, "Oh, this is going all right. We'll leave it as is." They'll be looking, right, how can we improve it? They got broadcast and sponsors that they have to, you know, give what they expect. So yeah, I expect things to change. Probably be many announcements in post Worlds next year, which isn't. I know it seems like a long way away, but it's not.
Final few hours in this grand old lady again for another year. It just doesn't get tireless coming back here, does it?
No, I'm almost. It's gone too quick. You know, I'm almost gutted that right. That's it for another year. But it is what it is. We haven't got to wait too long for another event. But none of them really really match this. I think this year's World, with the expansion and moving to the big room, I think that'll make that a little bit more special than it already is.
You can't buy history though, can you? This is
No.
the only original venue left on the calendar, the one that we saw from day one in the WDC as it was then, and in the PDC. You can't buy history.
No, I can. The VIP room used to be up here on this balcony, and I won a prize in the darts world. Proton Cars sponsored it, and I walked in. Obviously I watched year one, and I thought, wow. And I said to Tommy Cox then, I said, I'll be in this, and he was like, yeah, I'm sure you will. And this was, well, one of the big first tournaments I ever played in and qualified for. And ironically, played my great pal Alan Warner Little in the first round. He beat me 10-8, the bugger, but I think he was #1 in the world at the time, so there was no shame in that. But yeah, it's got so much history for me, so much history for our sport, and thankfully it's going nowhere, which, it's a big move from the PDC, but would you get the same kind of crowd, or would it just be another... If we took it somewhere else that held 4,000, 5,000, it just becomes another tournament. This has its own identity. It's a beautiful old building. The PDC have a wonderful relationship with the council. They work so well and closely together, bring so much money to the town as well. And yeah, I just love it.
Mate, thanks for breaking the final down for us as always, my friend.
Pleasure, mate.